Hi everyone, thank you for joining. So I hope my voice is clear.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yes, it's 2 minutes. Yes, let's continue. Let me share the screen. Okay. So once again, thank you for joining. Like as we know, today is Sunday, so we are just spending 1 hour to understand what BIM is and maybe how to make a career out of it. Okay, not only just career, but the best uh, like career where we'll be having the continuous growth. Okay, so the topic is to how we can step into BIM. Okay, so as we know, a lot of candidates are there who are struggling to make career in BIM, but parallelly they are looking for the platforms to learn BIM on a project basis. Okay, not only just to understand BIM, but also parallelly to implement it. Okay, and as we know, a lot of companies are also there who are also struggling to implement BIM. Okay, with for example, a lot of candidates. Okay, because they are having maybe more employees, and it is getting difficult for them to implement BIM. The reason is many candidates, they are focusing on only softwares, but the problem is we are not focusing on how to implement BIM. Okay, in a company. Since if there is one company having, for example, 50 employees, 100 employees, and if all of the 100 employees don't know, that one mindset about BIM, like one person is having a mindset like BIM is nothing but like a software. One mindset, maybe it's about process. One mindset is about something else. So it will be difficult for the companies to also implement BIM, and it's getting a challenge. Okay. So the BIM Skills is a platform, okay, where we are trying to solve this problem by creating the right professionals for BIM to the companies, so that there will be mutual benefit between the employees and the companies. Okay. So the main topic of this, webinar is how to step in BIM. Okay, how we can not only just using the software, but how to work with BIM. Okay, and to understand how we provide the training. Okay, mainly the topic is how we provide the training about BIM. Okay, so we are having few topics. If you see, like we'll be having introduction and how we commit to the BIM standards. Okay, and how we implement BIM during the training. Okay, and with whom you will be getting the trainings. Okay, and how much depth we will get to understand, or how much in-depth knowledge we will get through this. Okay, and some small contents I have attached some images here. Okay, and then we will have the question answers. Okay, so if you see here, the main thing we need to understand, like how we provide BIM training, okay, with proper BIM implementation. And also if you want to learn some part of BIM, maybe you will understand. Okay, so main our focus is to implement BIM standards. Okay, so because particularly I believe personally, like implementing BIM is important rather than only the softwares. Okay, so I believe whatever maybe the softwares are there, like different types of BIM softwares are available in the market, but all of these softwares are nothing but like tools. Okay, but using those tools, how we can implement BIM. Okay, that is the main intention of this, training programs at the BIM skills. Okay, and how we are committed to the highest level of BIM standards and how we implement, what is our, unique approach in implementing BIM during the training. So also to guide you people the same how to implement it. That is the main, purpose. Okay. So we recognize that adherence to industry standards is not a just practice, best practice. It is the foundation upon which excellence in BIM is built instead of just softwares. Because majorly many candidates, when they call me and if they ask about the BIM training, majorly, they will focus on softwares. Every time if I get a call, majorly the candidates will ask how many softwares you are going to teach. If any company, for example, any platform, if they says we are teaching you more than 8 softwares, 12 softwares, so the candidates they will believe that it's good. Okay, but learning multiple softwares I personally don't recommend. Okay, instead of focusing on multiple tools, we need to focus on how we can implement BI. Okay, because if we understood the foundation of BI, then we can use the softwares to implement it. Okay, that is the main intention. So what is our commitment again to BIM standards? If you see here, during the training also, we implement globally recognized standards, BIM standards. If I read here, our training program is designed to align with globally recognized BIM standards, such as BS 1192, PAS 1192, ISO 19650, and other standards, which are implemented across, very large scale and high-end, projects across the, world. But maybe you will be having a question like how we are going to implement this. Okay, I will explain in future. So by embracing these standards, we ensure that our participants in the training, they will get the good understanding of BIM methodologies. Because I'm seeing the problem in market, there are few companies, which are getting started in India, but they want to implement BIM. But what is happening from the start, they are trying to implement BIM, but at some point, they are not able to catch up and they are not able to control the employees. Okay. And what is happening after that, they are switching to CAD. So for example, if I talk about softwares, they are starting from, Revit in it, and it happened with us also in previous, projects. We started with, BIM, like going to Revit and again slowly going to the AutoCAD. Okay. So then the work is getting continued to the AutoCAD. So we need to solve this problem. Like I told you again, when it can be solved, when we implement and when we commit our standards to, particularly BIM process. If we don't follow BIM process and if we are not strictly bind to the BIM process, rather than only if we are focusing on, software, that kind of mentality, if we have in the employees or in the companies, then I think implementing these things will be difficult. Okay. So that kind of, people we want to be, and when we want to work in the companies. Okay. So let's see, I will explain you in future, like how we are going to implement these standards. Okay. So again, by embracing these standards, we ensure that our participants gain a comprehensive understanding of BIM methodologies and you will be equipped to meet the expectations of the international industry. So where, for example, like in current scenario, if you check very large scale, client or projects are making compulsory the BIM process. Okay. Like for example, naming the files, okay, following the standard naming conventions, standard working procedure, standard submission procedure, standard checking procedure. So that is coming into BIM process. But at the small scale, projects, we are not focusing that much on the BIM standards, but we are focusing on the softwares. But if we go through this training, so you will be, able to, you'll be having that kind of a knowledge where you will be able to work on international projects. Okay. So what are the, practical applications of these standards? You see, our commitment goes beyond theoretical understanding, but not only just, for example, reading the standards and understanding about maybe like what is, for example, BIM standard like BS 1092, PAS 1092, ISO, and maybe, for example, EIR, BEP, some of the documents, whatever we have. But the main thing during the training, we will implement this. Okay. So we will create a scenario, like we will take one project and we will create a scenario, and then we will create the documents, okay, the standards, and then these standards we will implement into the projects. Okay. So what will happen because of this, you will feel like already you are working in a company for a prestigious maybe client where we are implementing BIM and solving the problems. Okay. The problem in the market is many candidates, they are doing the training. Okay. They are, maybe I cannot say everything, but they are doing the trainings in the name of high end or whatever, but at the end, they are not able to implement it and solve the problems. Okay. As per my experience, basically, I say if there is any BIM professional, that is equal to problem solver. Because if you see, if there is any architect, okay, he or she will try to design the project, okay, and they will try to solve the problems of a client, right? In the same way, if you go to structural engineer, he or she also will be do the same thing. Okay, they will try to do the structural design, okay, and they are trying to solve the problem, okay, by designing the structure so that maybe that structure will withstand maybe for so many years, and the material they can reduce and they can maybe uh, create a good, stand kind of design and all. But if you go to a BIM professional, we are lacking that kind of, information or that kind of a mindset. That is the problem in the Indian BIM market. Okay, because there is no proper education about BIM. Okay, it's only about softwares, but there is no education about BIM. So that is what, you will get to know in this training. Okay, and it's a huge problem. We are maybe seeing like it's not a, small problem, but it's creating a big problem where the companies wants to implement BIM, but because of, lack of knowledge or lack of people, where there is no mindset of the candidates to implement BIM, but only to work with the softwares, or to maybe do the some rendering, create some details 3D where the 3D views are looking good. They're doing the rendering, putting some lights, cars, people, trees, okay, giving some greenery and doing some rendering. That is, not a part of full BIM. It's like just, I can say, 20 out of just one part, that is 3D visualization. So we are able to, implement that, but other 19 advantages, for example, if we have 20 advantages, other 19 advantages we are not able to get. So that is where the companies wants to implement BIM, but they don't have the proper, resources. That is the problem. Okay. So that mindset, we need to create in this training. So you'll not only, learn these things, but you will implement during the training. Okay. And then you'll be ready for the real world projects. Okay. So still, if I'll stick to the BIM standards only, you can check out. So when you join this training programs, you will be able to implement the BIM standards such as EIR, BEP, MIDP, TIDP, MPDT, and many other, BIM standards you will be able to, implement in the projects during the training. Okay, that is where we have the advantages and where you will be able to learn BIM implementation through the softwares. So ultimately, as per my belief, software is a tool. Okay, but the main thing is what the process. Okay, so and in these trainings, if you see at the BIM skills,
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, tell me.
Sir, please speak in Hindi, sir. I cannot understand, sir.
Oh, sorry, because maybe a lot of people are from different regions. It's difficult. Okay. So we need to discuss in this language only. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So if you see here, you can check out what we do during the training is we continuously, improve the BIM standards in the training. For example, if we have one batch, then the total scenario of the next batch will be different. Okay. Again, I will explain you how it is happening. So as time grows, what is happening? The BIM standards are also getting improved. For example, there is one client, okay, they created some BIM standards and they implemented in the projects. So what is happening when they implement? I regularly explain during the trainings, like implementing BIM is nothing but like a preparing, one dish. If you prepare one dish for example, for the first time, you know, maybe it will not be that much, good. But if you prepare the next time by taking the feedback, it will be more better. So again, if you take the feedback, so it will evolve. So in the same way, BIM standards can be, refined from the feedback of the other companies. Like for example, if there is one construction project, there will be a client, maybe there is one project management consultant, maybe there is, for example, any other, architectural company, any structural company, any engineering consultant, any contractor, subcontractor, whatever it is. So what will happen? So because of, implementation, the companies, they will get the feedback, or the client, they will get the feedback and they will improve it. Okay. So as the BIM standards are getting improved and evolve, we will also use the same thing. So we are also continuously improving the training. Okay. If you see the next thing, our commitment extends to staying aware of the latest updates. But again, I'm saying you, like, how we are getting to know that these standards are getting implemented, across the market, how we are approach, what is our approach in that? I will explain it. Okay. So when you join the training, for example, the next batch, it will be more better when compared to the, previous. Why? Because again, because of the BIM standards. Okay. And the market change. Okay. So why it is happening? Because we are continuously working on, international projects. If you see, okay. If you see the BIM skills, we are providing both consulting and training. So parallelly, we do the projects, and we will use the content, the experience, whatever we get, from the client side, not only just, local clients, but international clients, whatever we get, we work on the projects, very high scale and very, high end BIM standards. Those things we will implement in the training. We will use those knowledge to improve our training. Okay. That is where uh, the differentiator in the BIM skill is. Okay. So we do diverse range of projects from different, regions. Like if you go like Saudi Arabia, maybe, like if you go like South Africa, Netherlands, okay, different, countries project we will do, like US. So those standards will be used in the training to improve it. Okay. So that is where the training, like every year it is getting changed, right? So this global exposure is integrated into a training curriculum, okay, offering participants, a proper BIM implementation on a worldwide scale. Okay. So this is our, method. If you go next, once you, for example, completed the training part, after that, you will be getting like 6 months of, certificate for the course, and 6 months to 1 year of training experience. Why? Because in the training directly you are working on the project. That is the advantage of this training. So we create the scenario, and maybe you will work on one real world project. Like for example, as I told you, like we have two departments, like BIM projects and BIM training. So like whatever the scenario we get in the BIM, project part, like how the client is approaching, and as a BIM consultant, how I'm replying, to the client, and how like I'm approaching for the project, and what is my proposal, and then how I get, work order maybe. So whatever the, the scenario is from the scratch to till the end, the same scenario will be created, during the training. So you will be also acting like a BIM consultant. And that is what important, I guess, to act as a BIM consultant during the training and solve the client's problem. Then only you will understand what BIM is. For example, if there is one structural engineer, what he will do? He will understand the client's problem as a consultant, because as a one structural engineer will become the consultant, right? After the masters or whatever the training or whatever they will do. So So what will happen? They will, consult with the client, and then they will try to like do the design part, right? In the same way, in the training, you will do the same thing. You will be acting like a consultant, and you will try to solve the problem. Then only you will understand what BIM is. Okay. So since directly you're working on project, so you will get 1 year of experience also. But we have some conditions for these things. Okay. So we want to, produce best candidates, okay, out of the BIM skills. So if you go to the market, you should be at the top position. Okay, you should be leading, this BIM industry, maybe in India or maybe across different regions. Okay, so that starting procedure or starting stepstone, when you're starting your career, that is what important. Okay, to make sure that the candidates are, learning effectively, and they are completing the projects, we have some conditions. Okay, so what is the condition? First one is you need to submit the project, whatever the projects we do during the training, all of those projects you need to submit. Okay, and there will be checking for the project. If the projects are okay, then maybe you will like a good, in the implementation. Okay, the second thing is you need to appear for one final exam. So where you will, attend, like it will be automation only. There will be no interruption of any person in future. So you'll be attending that exam, and then maybe you'll be having one quiz type of thing, or maybe you'll have a tool test or whatever. Then if you pass in these things, automatically you will receive the certificate. If not, maybe like we have the chance, maybe we'll be having 3 attempts. You will just, reattempt again and again. Okay, the main thing at the end is to whatever the content, we are learning in the training, that should be implemented. Okay, then only we will learn, right? So this is what we want. Okay, and at the end of training you'll be getting, but during the training also you'll be getting to, understand how the BIM industry works. Okay, what are the types of companies are there? And I see many candidates are there, they are working in the company, but they are not getting to know, and they are not interested to know what is the type of company. If they get the job, that is enough for them. Okay, at the end they should get the job, whatever may be the type of companies. They should get the job, and they should get one particular salary. That is enough. If you start your career in this way, definitely you will fail in future. So that is why we need to understand what type of companies are there. BIM is getting implemented in what type of companies. Okay, so we have a list of different, maybe 10 different type of companies, the categories where the BIM is getting implemented, and in which company you want to build your career. So that, mindset is important. Otherwise, in next, for example, if you start your BIM career this year, in next 5 years, definitely you will fail. And I see many candidates, it's happening with many candidates. Okay, so I try to guide them, like, you should not fail in next 5 years. Continuously, your career should be growing. But how it will happen? With right guidance. So I believe, compared to again the training or skill development, equally mentorship is also important. If you don't have a proper mentor, then that will create the problem. Maybe you're having a lot of knowledge, but if you don't have the proper guidance, then it's difficult. So that guidance is also important. So at the end, during the training, and at the end, you will get to understand how we will create the resume. Okay, and then uh, like how we will create the portfolio, the best portfolio and the best resume. Not just creating the portfolio, whatever the images, but you see, it's 50-50%, efforts. For example, 50% efforts will be from my side. For example, 50% efforts should be from your side. Okay, so it should be like that. Okay, then you will be having success. So your success is our success. That is the, scenario, whatever maybe it's like project wise, or as a consultant, or as a training part. Okay, if I see as per the project wise, if the client is having a success, that is our. Okay, if the candidate is having a success, that is our success. So that is like, belief, I have. So you will get a dedicated, job assistance from the start of the training. till you get the job. But it's up to you also, because always we are open, so you can approach anytime. Okay, it's not like that. For example, if the training is finished and there is no guidance, okay, there is nothing, but you will be having continuous support. Okay, till you get a proper job. And once you get the job, for example, this year, okay, next year, if you want to switch and then you want to get the guidance again, you'll be having that also. Okay, it's like continuous, support. That is what the, true meaning, I believe, of any institution. Okay. The next thing, the main important is like you will be getting training from the experienced professionals. So whether maybe it's me or maybe it's any other person at the BIM skills, the belief is that you should be getting training from the experienced professionals. Okay, not from the freshers. That is why even currently also I don't hire any, fresher or having 1 or 2 years of experience. I believe you people should get the training from the working professionals who are having at least 5 years of experience, and not only just, the number of experience, but the quality, and also who knows about the industry. Many people will be there who are working already in the industry. They'll be having a lot of experience, but they will not be having the understanding of the industry. Okay. So my belief is if you get the training from that kind of a person who is having the understanding of industry, then you will also get a proper guidance. So I told you again, the majorly it is about the mentorship. Okay. Like 50% it is about the skill development, knowledge and all, and the 50% is the guidance mentorship. Okay. Next. So the main, again, the difference is in-depth details. So you will be, for example, doing this training, okay, only for one time. There will be no requirement of doing the trainings again and again. I get a lot of calls from the candidates who already did the training. They are paying, lakhs of rupees. Okay. And I see the candidates currently, if you see the current scenario, the candidates, they don't want to learn. Okay. They just want to pay lakhs of rupees, but they don't want to learn. They don't want to get the proper knowledge. Okay. So they just want to get the job. For example, if I tell any candidate they are ready to pay, for example, lakhs of rupees, okay, they don't want to learn. They're not concentrating like what kind of knowledge they will get. Okay. But they're concentrating to get the placement. Okay. And I see a lot of candidates in the name of placement, they are paying, very high fees. But the problem is at the end, one thing on the one side, they are not getting the knowledge. On the other side, they are not getting the placement. So whatever you're paying, it's for nothing. Okay. So my belief is the candidates should not be, there's no need to worry about the placement in BIM, okay, or any other field. The main thing is knowledge. Because if you have the knowledge, you will be having that confidence. Like I have the right knowledge and I'm very perfect in this field. So then definitely, with the help of this confidence, because if you get an interview, that confidence is important to face the interview. So that confidence when you get the in-depth trainings, okay, in-depth knowledge. So instead of focusing on placement, I believe we should focus on knowledge plus mentorship. That is enough to get, the jobs. And that is what happening at the BIM skills. Okay. So as you're getting the experience, as you're getting the course certificate, but the main thing is experience also. Okay. Because you're working on the project and you're getting the knowledge with the help of which the companies are also, seeing the benefit, in you. Because if any company is hiring, they will see the benefit, like, how much knowledge you have. So there are certain companies who don't want to even, do the interview directly. They want to take. Why? Because of the knowledge. So that knowledge, I believe knowledge plus mentorship is enough. There's no need of placement. Okay. Because no platform can give you 100% guarantee. Okay. For example, there is one candidate who is not, discussing with me by doing some eye contact. Okay, he is not doing any communication with me properly. Even for example, if I take him to the interview, what happens? He will not be able to, attend the interview, he'll be able to attend. Maybe he is not, doing the eye contact, he is not doing the proper communication with the, company. What happens? Maybe they will not take. So is this 100% guarantee? No. Because, and again, in online, for example, if you are providing training, nobody can give you 100% guarantee in this. So we need to evolve the candidate. Okay, what are you? So if I evolve, maybe out of 100 candidates, maybe only 20 to 30 candidates will be there who are fit for the, placement, who are talented, who have proper communication. But if we see many candidates, they are not good in communication, so we cannot, do this one. Okay. So the candidates are focusing on the placement, they are not focusing on knowledge, because of which in future again they are facing the problem, because they are not having the proper guidance, nothing, no knowledge. In future again they just want to do one more training. They are searching where I should get in-depth, kind of training. So I believe the starting point is important. Instead of focusing on placement, job, other thing, we should focus on knowledge. And with the help of the confidence and the experience, definitely, you will get the good knowledge and good, maybe, position. And again, you'll be having growth in the future. Or else again, you need to do one more training. Okay, that is not good. So the main differentiator in the BIM skill is again the in-depth topics. Okay, like if we take one session, it will go in very in-depth. So let's see some, the examples we did in the previous sessions. If you see this million details, like how exactly the company works, in the same way we create the details during the training. Okay, not just creating the details or doing the projects from our side. Okay, we take the details projects from the companies, and the same thing we will repeat, and it will be like you are working again in one more company. Okay, so these details are created by the candidates. You see the all families, other like facade details, many things. Okay, if you see the project scale, we will do some large scale projects. Okay, where we will be having a lot of details. But the main thing, it's not about just 3D, it's about information model and how we implement BIM, during the training. Okay, so these are some projects. So once you, for example, this is the area we have, the same area, we can do the rendering. But again, this is just one part. For example, we use this model to study the site logistics. Okay, where this RMC truck should come from, where should we, place this tower crane. Okay, so this is nothing but the advantages of BIM model. Okay, where we use this one to study the site logistics. In the same way, you see here, we will use this, same model to do the rendering. So to implement BIM, we are having multiple advantages. Okay, like if you see here, one advantage is to study the site logistics. Okay, before starting the site, so that we can solve the problems. So main thing I told you at the starting, a proper BIM professional is equal to problem solver. Okay, not just 3D creator. Okay, but what is happening? We are creating the 3D, and if I do some rendering, if I put some lights, colors, and we are feeling happy. Okay, so that is not an important. It's important, but equally other advantages from the BIM implementations are also important. Okay, so we will focus on both. Again, taking of drawings from the model is also important. Not only just, for example, simple drawings, we need to take of the professional drawings. Okay, how the companies develops the drawing in the same way, not just, creating some drawings and having any kind of annotation standards or whatever. No. So we need to, take off these things. So now you see, we have three advantages. Like one advantage is to take off the drawing, other advantage is to take off the rendering. Okay, the third advantage is to take off the site logistics study. And the fourth advantage, again, if you see, this also comes into drawing, like we can say, or the quantities. So many advantages we can have from one model. You see here, for example, we created, a small rebar detailing, and we can take off the quantities. So how many advantages, we have now? Four advantages from one BIM model. Like one advantage is like quantities, other advantage is the drawing. Okay, I can say the third one is like rendering. Okay, and the fourth one is to study the site logistics. So like that, we can have multiple advantages. So that we need to understand as a BIM professional for any company, how I can provide the advantage to that particular company by implementing BIM. That mindset is important. It's not like, for example, you're going to the company and you are waiting for the work. Somebody should come and they will, give you task until and unless you're not able to do anything. No, you need to take the charge and the responsibility, and you need to implement advantages in any company using BIM. Okay. So you see, we created some ceiling details in very in depth. Okay. Not only just one part, but we have multiple designs. Okay. You see the railings. For example, to take one session, to create one railing, we will be spending 2 hours, like 2 hours for this one, 2 hours for this one, 2 hours for this one, maybe for this one. So like you see, 8 hours only will be spent, on railing. Okay. So that much of in-depth, things we have. And I believe a real implementation of BIM is somewhat difficult. It's not easy. Okay. It's challenging, especially when you scale the project. If the project scale is big, BIM implementation will become more challenging. But it is challenge, but it will give you advantages also. But that mindset is important. Whether I want to accept that challenge and implement BIM, and I want to get the advantages from it. Okay. So just last one thing, then we can have some, question answers. If you have any questions, I will answer it for you. So we have two separate things, one training sessions for the architects and the civil engineers, and other is for mechanical and electrical. So this can be for interior designs. And I see still, in my, I don't know, maybe it's my problem or what, in my 4 to 5 years of training, career, I have not seen any interior designer who approached me for the training and they want to utilize BIM for their interior projects. Okay. So maybe architects are there, but interior designers are not there. So I don't know, maybe they are not knowing, about BIM, like they can implement and they can solve the problems in their projects. Okay. So that is also what required. So during the training for architects and civil engineers, for both, like you see here, for mechanical and electrical engineers, we will do one Dubai-based project. Okay, one US based. So now you see, from the next batch, we will, implement one US based projects also. Okay. So previously we had, but now we have some in-depth, project. So we will do it. You see here, multiple locations, multiple standards, implement to learn the details. That is what you will be having the advantage. Not only just for the sake of surface, I can say surface knowledge, but in-depth knowledge. Okay, because directly you will be working on the project. So for example, if you get if any company gets one US based project, if they want to complete it, they want at least 1 month, 2 month for the BIM modeling and all. So like you are getting the same project. So you need to also spend that kind of time, in the training. So what will happen if you spend time now, if you learn all of these things, next, whatever the career you're having in the future, that will be better. Okay. If you spend one thing, we don't study, the things in engineering, in architecture also, maybe we study, but all the topics are not relevant, in the reality. So that is what the education, system is. But in these, practical things, if we don't study, then I think in future it will be difficult. So better is to at least spend certain time and, work on this. So later you'll be having the, good career path. Okay. So we will work on one point cloud, all the training methodologies or the project methodologies, whatever we have, CAD to BIM, PDF to BIM. Okay, direct, we can implement BIM through the softwares like Revit and all. And we will do point cloud project, whatever the scenarios are there, we should be get prepared. But again, the last thing, it's like 50% effort. 50% effort from the BIM skills, 50% efforts from your side. If like we are trying our best, but it's up to you also whether you are also putting your efforts or no. Okay. So I hope you got to know about the methodologies and how we can step into BIM. If you have any questions, we can discuss. Is any questions related to BIM or the training methods or whatever we can discuss?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm Vinay, sir.
Yes. Hi.
Okay. I hope you will be able to listen.
Yes, yes.
Sir, what is meant by structural designing in BIM?
Structure designing in BIM.
Uh, and do stat pro tabs comes under BIM?
See, okay. Let me. Okay, I think you're able to see my screen. Let me just get one more. Okay. See, there are two types of, roles can be. Okay. So one can be dedicated, I can say dedicated structural engineer. Okay. Structural engineer
Okay.
who designs the structures. Okay. For example, who designs the structures. So maybe he will be using, because since he is designing the structures. Okay. So he will be using, see, softwares again, I told you, these are tools. Okay. So, but the main important thing is what the knowledge of structures. Okay. The fundamentals. Okay. Softwares are just tools for any structural engineer. So there can be one dedicated structural engineer who will be doing the design using tabs. So he is not able to maybe do the design using manual methods, and also he is using software so that he can get accurate results and all. Okay, and the fast way of work. So he will be using Stat Pro, tabs or whatever. Okay, but we, for example, if there is any BIM structural engineer, so what he will do? So again, it depends. So this position can be again BIM structural engineer or structural engineer BIM something, but it depends the role on the roles and responsibilities. So there can be one company who hires a BIM structural engineer or structural designer, whatever, but the roles can be to do the design using the softwares. Okay, along with that, he should be having the knowledge of BIM. Okay, maybe the complete work he is doing of BIM, the modeling, the documentation, quantity takeoff, everything he is doing, and the design part also done by him. Okay, this is one scenario. Second scenario is there can be one dedicated, designer who doesn't know, who just know only the basic knowledge of BIM. Okay, so that because he is working in BIM environment, because I told you regularly, BIM is nothing but like a normal procedure, like working methodology, like how we work using CAD nowadays. In the same way, we will be working, in BIM. So for example, if you see the CAD scenario, okay, so structural engineer, what they will do, they will do design using tabs. Okay, and they will hand over this design data to one CAD engineer. Okay, so that CAD engineer will develop drawings, okay, sheets, everything. But in the same way, the structural engineer will do the design, dedicated person who knows about tabs, stat pro other thing, and he will just give the input to the BIM team. So BIM team will develop, the model like that. So there can be one scenario, the structural engineer himself is doing all the things, doing the design, modeling, sheets, everything. But there can be different departments. BIM department is different, and the engineering department is different.
Okay, thank you.
Well, yes, we have just 15 minutes still. If we have any questions, we can discuss.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, myself Mohammed Gauss.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I am a fresher civil engineer.
Mhm.
Can I plan my career in both structural and BIM field, sir? in
See,
future?
I told the same thing. Both the things are, difficult. Okay. If you want to work in, because BIM itself is, that kind of in-depth field. Okay. So if you spend, 10 to 15 years in it, you will not be able to cover, overall subjects. So I suggest depends upon your interest, but also see the market opportunities. Okay. So if you are, we say interest and all, but interest and other things can be, improved based on our dedication only. Okay. So I believe having both, it's difficult. Okay. So either you can be a dedicated structural engineer or a dedicated BIM professional, but developing career in both, if you want to do BIM work and also if you want to do the, structural work, that is not possible, I guess. Okay. But if you want to go in structural, you can be structural engineer, but you will be into BIM environment where you will be coordinating with the BIM team. Okay. Because they are developing the model, they are solving the problems, and you are giving your design input to them. Okay. So you can be coordinate. For coordination also, you need certain knowledge on BIM, because every department in future should be having knowledge on BIM, whether architecture department, whether there is a construction manager, okay, whether there is a director of the company or whatever maybe it is, they should be having the knowledge of BIM, but not the in-depth, but surface knowledge, how the BIM things work and all, that is enough for them.
Sir, if you have to choose between these two, structures and BIM, what do you have done right now at the starting
It
of your
depends
career?
upon, so
Having
at the
both
start,
interested in BIM and structures, if you have to choose either one of them.
yes. So there will be, fresher who will be having interest in all the fields. Okay, a fresher wants to go to site, okay, and do the site execution. A fresher wants to go to, quantity survey department. A fresher wants to do everything. He want to appear for gate exam. He want to appear for government exam. He want to appear for structure, MTech. He want to study in NIT, IIT. So it happens with many, engineers want to do multiple things, but I guess that is not possible. Okay. And still there are people who want to try multiple things. So if you try multiple things, I guess you will be wasting your time, because in market, if you go, the companies, they need dedicated experienced professionals for each and every field, because nowadays everything, went into a lot of details. If you choose one, for example, I am spending my time from last 8 years into BIM. Still, I believe personally, I have not covered 30 to 40% of knowledge in BIM. Still, I left with 60%, because the things are getting evolved. So I'm not able to cover it. Right. So one thing, it depends. We cannot, cover each and everything. Okay. Because of the time constraints and because of the company's requirement, they cannot keep you on multiple things, because even in one BIM department, there can be hundreds of people working. Okay. But I would have choose the same thing. Okay. But as I am somewhat like, technology based person, I believe in solving the problems, because my mindset is like that. Always I try to solve the problems, but not to create. Okay. Because I don't like creating the problems. So I told you, like, BIM professional is equal to problem solver. So based on that scenario, so I like to, work in BIM, like that. So you should be checking yourself. You are a problem solver, or you love the technology, like as the things are getting changed, so you're also adopting those, or no, like BIM is getting changed in a very fast way. So if you align yourself into that, you should go to BIM. If you're not, then you should go to structural engineer. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, hello, sir. One more question from the
Yes, hi.
sir. In being out.
I think your voice is not clear.
Hello, sir.
No, I think your voice is not clear. If you want to put a message, you can add in chat box.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can.
Actually, sir, I want to ask that as a civil engineer,
Mhm.
if I want to go in BIM side, so as a civil engineer, on what we should focus on? What would you recommend so that I can get job as a BIM engineer easily, as a fresher civil
Mhm.
engineer if I want to go in BIM side? So
Mhm.
on what things should I focus on? What would you recommend?
See, one thing I recommend, definitely okay, to work with me on the projects during the training and get the better knowledge. Okay, because you should be searching. If you mute, it will be better. Okay, later we can. Okay, thank you. Thing, don't learn from your side. Okay, because every candidate, every person should be having one mentor, one teacher. Okay, even I should have one mentor and mentors, not only just one, maybe mentors for different departments, so that they can guide me how to work with the training and projects. Okay, so it is important. If you do everything by yourself, then I guess uh, it's difficult to achieve. For example, you can achieve those things in 1 year, but maybe you'll achieve in 5 years, because maybe you'll fail, you will learn, you will fail, you will learn. Okay, so one thing is you can do by yourself, but maximum what you can do, you'll go to YouTube, you'll go to maybe Google. So if you go to YouTube, maybe you will get a lot of uh, sessions, videos, and other thing. But the problem of the candidates is they are not checking who is uploading the videos, what is the qualification of that person. This is what the industry, education problem, I guess, not only industry, but the education problem is. For example, I'm not practicing in real life on BIM, but I'm providing the trainings. Okay, so that is not good. Okay, but we cannot do anything. It's our fault, because simply we go to YouTube and we will see a lot of videos and we will just check one by one. So that is not good, I guess, because at some point in future you will maybe fail because you're not having the right mentor. So that is also important. You will get maybe mentors, but also you need to search for right mentors. Okay, as per your requirement. Second thing, whatever you want to learn, I believe you should go to the jobs. Okay, if you see, for example, I hope maybe you're using LinkedIn, you're using maybe so based on company's requirement. So instead of this, the problem of the mindset is we go in Google and we search for the you know anything we want, and we believe that that is 100% correct. But whatever you see in Google, always it's not 100% correct, right? It's based on your keywords. Okay, so if you go to any, for example, restaurant to eat anywhere, maybe you'll Google, and if you go, maybe you'll face some challenges. But if you go with any trust, if someone says this, maybe the rating of this location is less, maybe, but they will provide the right kind of food to you, so you will go there. So I suggest to learn as per the, also if you want to become BIM manager, you should check the position here, what this company requires, because you want to work for this company. So for example, there is one company, they want you to work 45 hours per week, maybe this is a US based company or whatever. What are the responsibilities of this company? Okay, so you should be looking for the requirement from the companies to learn. Okay, if you want to go for one particular position. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Well, Yes, any other questions we have?
Sir, is BIM being outsourced? And what's the market and future trend of BIM outsourcing in next 5 to 10 years?
See, as per my belief, I see you can check here. As per my knowledge and experience, what BIM is, because a lot of confusion. Okay. So the previous method was to do the manual drafting. Okay, everything was manual. It's it was a way of working previous life before like AutoCAD. So AutoCAD is a software, but the method came, after BIM. Sorry, after this manual drafting is CAD. Like now we are seeing BIM, but many people they are just focusing on Revit. In the same way, this happened previously. So CAD method and CAD process of CAD technology came, even though they implemented CAD, but all of the people, most of them, they are having confusion in between AutoCAD and CAD. Okay, they will just say, do you have CAD software? So they mean AutoCAD. Okay, so AutoCAD is a software for CAD process. Okay, so we need to understand what was the manual drafting. Okay, how the architecture firm used to work with manual things, like how they used to create the drawings in this scenario, and how they used to create some cardboard models. Even if you go to a lot of architecture colleges, I think, because we also had one department for architecture, so they used to create the models using cardboard, wood, I think different kind of things. So to visualize the thing, and for the drawing purpose they used to have this method like manuals. But in the current scenario, as compared to the other uh, departments or other kind of industries, we cannot work in this way. Okay, for example, if you tell, like, I will just use telephone now and I will not use any and it will not work. Okay, for example, there is a friend circle of yours, your friend circle, all of them are having latest, because again there is difference. Whatever the phone we purchased 5 years back, okay, nowadays if you see the phones, the AI is coming into the phone also. They are saying our phone is equipped with AI. So what is happening as time goes, the technologies are changing. And if I use the mobile phone, which is a 5 years back, compared to the new one, maybe the new one is more better for me because it is having better performance, better like, camera, better storage. Also coming with 1 TB. Okay. So if you're a friend circle and for example, 5 people are having Android latest phone and you are holding this one, so you cannot collaborate, you cannot do proper communication. And if they want to send you the photo, video, any voice recording, any WhatsApp, you don't have anything. So it cannot work, right? So in the same way, we cannot in the current scenario for because the today's world is very fast. So we cannot use this, old methods. So we switch from manual drafting to CAD method. Okay. Just remember the CAD. So, but CAD method, when it came in 19, if you see the scenario, maybe it came into 1980s. So that is 45 years of. So we are not able to use a mobile phone, which is of 5 years back. Okay. Like it's getting slow compared to the new phones. So how we can use a method of 45 years old, okay, into the current, construction industry as per the people's requirement. So manual drafting or manual method was also one of the, I can say scenario in the companies. Then CAD came, all the companies adopted. That is why if you go in market and if you see, no company uses manual drafting. Okay, they don't want to use it. So everyone now having the habit of computers. Without computer, they are not working. Even the receptionist, if they have, they also use, computer. Like everything become computer aided. Okay. So if you remember, I think 15 years back, we had computer in our home. So that was like, a box type, very heavy. Okay. But it became compulsory for now, for us now to have the computers. In the same way, if you go in future, the BIM is also, sorry, BIM is also a process. Okay, a working methodology, a way of work. So this now we are seeing the projects are getting outsourced. Why? If you see in the market now, the CAD projects are also, gets outsourced. So BIM is also getting outsourced because still a lot of companies like, architectural companies, construction companies, they don't have the proper BIM team because suddenly they are not able to, suddenly they are getting the requirement from the client that we need to implement BIM. And now they are not knowing anything. Okay, they don't have the employees who knows knowledge about BIM. So that is where they are just outsourcing the projects to the specialized BIM consultant like us. Okay, but in future, when they equip, and now they are preparing for it, the contracting companies, the consulting companies, they are preparing, they are saying that all of the our, department should have the knowledge of BIM. Okay, like for example, I coordinated with one construction manager for recent project. So he was not having the knowledge of BIM. He was doing search by himself. So what happened? He now want to do one crash course with me to understand overall about BIM because, for example, he want to, maybe in future want to switch from one company to the next. The next company is making compulsory for a construction manager also to have the knowledge about BIM because the overall below department people will be using BIM. If the construction manager is not having the knowledge of BIM, then it cannot. So everybody needs to have the knowledge of BIM, whether it's structural engineer, mechanical, electrical, architect, interior designer, or any other type of company because it's a way of working. So I believe in today's market, it's getting outsourced, but in future, every company will be having the method implemented. So again, after BIM, there will be one more method. So continuously, it's like, you know, evolution. So in the same way, if I show you here, like tire evolution, if you see, okay, if you see here, this is what, CAD and BIM is. Maybe the screen is getting stuck. But if you see here, for example, for your bike, if I tell you to use the stone tire, definitely you will not. You will try to get a new one. So I believe this is BIM, this is CAD, this is manual drafting. This is what before, paper, we were using cloth on which we were doing the drawing, the thing. And before that, maybe we were having some maps on stone like that. So the things are getting evolved every field. So in the same way, construction industry is also getting evolved using new methods. So that will become norm. It will be common in future. And again, we will look for new method. Okay.
Okay, sir. And what about that Indian IT service companies are implementing this? They are jumping into this BIM services. Sir. Is it true?
Mhm. Yes, many companies are there who are working, IT companies who are working with BIM, but for their own departments, I guess. Okay. So like for example, Reliance. Okay, if I take one example, Reliance is not only into what is the okay, maybe it's spelling wrong. So if you see here, Reliance, they're not into construction sector, but they're into many. Okay, they're into telecom, for example, section. Like telecom means it will like for example, telecom company. And telecom means they'll be having this kind of, for example, towers. So they need to do the construction of these towers. So this company will be having BIM professionals again. So they will be using BIM professionals to, construct all of these telecom things, okay, with BIM. So the company category is telecom, but they want to do their own projects, okay. So they are using BIM for that. So in the same way, IT companies are also taking BIM projects, okay. They are working on it. Some IT companies, they are using BIM to improve the process. They just want to create the process for some other, high level of companies, and they are just submitting that procedure. Some IT companies, they are developing some applications, softwares, different, type of things.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, I think
Hello,
it's yes.
sir. What could be the salary range for a fresher?
Hmm.
I have experience in as a site engineer of total 5 years.
Mhm.
If if now I switch into the BIM, what could be the salary I can expect?
See, BIM, I told you, implementing BIM is difficult, and you are having 5 years of site engineer experience. Okay, that is also useful. But above that, you need, certain experience in BIM also. Okay. So you're having 5 years. If you switch, you'll get, I think initially, because there was one candidate who was, again, the same thing, 5 years of experience. So he switched. Initially in one company, he had around 50,000. Okay. Then within 1 year, he is able to get, I think, 80 to 85,000. Okay. So that is possible. But again, I told you, it's your efforts. Okay. 50% efforts, like that. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, I think we are getting late, and you also have maybe some personal works. If you have any further questions, you can, WhatsApp me, or you can call me. I will just answer. So thank you for joining this session.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, myself Umer, sir.
Yes. Tell me.
So currently I'm working as a site execution. I have no more time to practice. So suggest me how much hour I can practice.
Site engineer means no time.
Yeah, sir.
The meaning of that, the meaning of job is same, right? Site engineer, no time.
No time. So how much time I need to practice?
See, daily
Your
at least you
suggestion.
need to spend 2 hours. Okay,
2 hours
to
after
practice.
class. After class.
But our training will be there from Monday to Friday. Okay, Saturday, Sunday will be off.
Okay,
So you can spend maybe more time if you want.
2 to 3 hours.
But practice total daily 2 hours you can spend, but weekend also, as we have off, so you can spend 2 days again.
But sir, oversight Saturday, Sunday also working day, sir.
Yes, that is also
That is
somewhat challenge.
that is the main problem oversight is there, sir.
Yes, I know. Yes, I don't know why it is happening. The work is not going in a right ways. Okay, but you
Sir,
need to take out
India
certain time.
mandate, is any chances to India mandate this BIM?
See, I guess it's not that much easy. Okay, it's some people, some industry people, they are trying for this one, but already BIM is getting used. But I told you the same thing. The problem is of standards. If you go to many locations, so that is why I told you. Once you understood the BIM process standards and all, you can also try to implement these standards and improve the methodology of BIM. Okay, so you can be the tomorrow's person who is leading BIM. Okay, by working in some big companies and changing the methodologies, implementing the right procedures. Okay, but I guess currently it's difficult to mandate BIM in India. A lot of challenges are there, maybe internally. Okay, exactly, I cannot reveal, but it's challengeable. But many private companies, they are using BIM, but the problem is, in the name of BIM, something is happening. So that is not, I believe, it's correct. So if any client comes, it's okay. They will tell you to give project in 1 month, but we should explain them this is not BIM, because they don't know BIM. So we know about the process and all. We should explain them how it works. Then they will understand, and they will. If I run my company as per client requirement, then I cannot implement the things in a proper way, because they don't know about BIM, because they think BIM is 3D. Okay, and lot of clients, lot of people, they are understanding slowly, because they are seeing that BIM is not fast. Okay, initially it's slow, but later it will be fast. Okay, but we need to explain these things. Okay, so if they say 1 month, we should say 2 month. So in 2 months it can be implemented, so that we can implement BIM in a right way, and we can maybe give them the advantage. But it's not happening. If we run my company as per client, if they say 1 month, so whatever I can create, just finish and submit it. Then whatever we are creating, that is not according to BIM methodology.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, just last 1 minute. Anything we have?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I am currently pursuing BTech final year, sir.
Mhm.
So I'm preparing for the gate also, and at the same time, I feel like somewhat have to go through with the beam skills also at a time.
Mhm.
So can I always doubt in myself, like, can I manage the both things at a time by for preparing it and also for scaling up the BIM?
See, I
Like,
believe
is
it
the
is
correct time to get into BIM skills? Both year.
so. Yes, it is correct time. Okay, see, I believe you should go from the first year itself in the engineering, because you are studying the engineering content for the purpose of certificate, but for the practical you're not doing anything. So if you are totally interested in one field, you should go initially from first year. But the problem is, we will not get that kind of platforms to learn. So this is the good time to learn BIM. Okay, but you should be in continuous touch, because softwares are like, if you are not touching with software, then you will forget. Okay, that is one disadvantage, because it's totally technology based kind of field. Second, in any field, if you see, if you learn something, if you leave it, then you will forget. So you should be in continuous touch. Second thing, why you want to go appear for gate exam? What is the reason?
Sir, I always plan of having a like MTech. I'm having a MTech, sir.
Why you want to do MTech?
Sir, actually, my aim is like to be a professor. Okay,
Mhm.
so after doing a MTech, I have to do that. But
Mhm.
basically, in the right now in the current situation, we see that students like a civil department is getting down, and
Mhm.
colleges getting down in the civil department also.
Mhm.
That's the reason I'm like,
Mhm. Okay. So basically, your end goal is to become professor. Okay.
yes, sir.
Mhm. But the college is, yeah, but don't worry. See, every field is having, ups and downs. Okay. But I believe construction is, never ending kind of thing. For example, our parents, they built house. So we need to also build house, and our future coming generation, they also need to build house, because everyone will become family. Like I was a single person, but now I'm a person with 4 members. Okay, I am having a family. So in the same way, it will be like, if now for example, personally, I need one home separate, for example, anything. So maybe in the different form, maybe it can be in the flat form, maybe it can be in the separate home house form, but I want it, right? So construction is never ending, because it's a need. Okay, like cloth is a need, food is a need, and home is also a need. So that home can be in different form. So majorly it will be home only, right? So it will be, if you go to Mumbai, you will find the home in the form of flat system. Okay, you cannot purchase the land there. It's very costly. So if you go to small cities, there you will find the home in the form of, the land form. Okay, but pricing of both, it's heavy. For example, if you go to those flats in Mumbai, you will find the flats with crores of rupees. So if you go to small cities, and if you go to the home, that also maybe you'll find in crore rupees. So construction is never ending, but I see The admissions are less, but this is what required to keep the admissions low. But in future, again, it will go up. Okay, it's like majorly because this happened because of the IT field, but now you see IT is down. Okay, so these ups and downs will come. Don't worry about that. But if you have a goal to become professor, so I believe you should go for GATE exam and continue with it. If you go for BIM again, you're learning some other okay kind of things.
But the thing is, I always undergrad, like, what if I couldn't get the gate, like I couldn't crack it, then I will be having again a career gap, right? So again, I have to
Hmm.
face that also. So that the thing, it's making me to go for the beam also at a time.
Mhm. See, that
So I
belief is
think,
important. Okay, getting strict to, for example, one kind of thing is important for us. Okay, so you should believe like I will crack it, and you should focus on that. Just one thing. Don't focus on. If you focus on multiple things, I believe you'll spend some time on this, some time on this. You know what happens? You'll be nowhere. Okay. So if you're having one goal, that is to become professor, that is if that is genuine, and if you want to you see yourself in next 30 years as your career into that, because everyone will be you know getting recognized with the position. Okay, what you are. You're a professor, so you'll be getting recognized as a professor. Okay. If you're nothing, then you'll be recognized as a nothing, for example. So next 30 years, I believe, where do you see you will enjoy your professor, kind of thing. You love teaching. Okay, you love guiding to the people, because I see professor, they will come, they will teach, they will go. Not all of them, but 50% maybe. Okay, maybe you're not enjoying your work daily routine. It will be it will be same. Sometime will come for a person, the daily routine will be similar, and then you will be fed up if you don't like. But if you like, for me, if you see, I'll work on Sunday also. I worked on Saturday also. Okay, some people, they will come to me and they will say, why you're working on Sunday and Saturday? Just take some rest." So maybe they will think like I'm taking the stress, because but I love my work. So if you give me work on Saturday, Sunday, I will work. Okay, that is what I will not feel stressed. Okay, but because if I feel stressed, then again maybe there will be some health issues. So we need to take care of that. Just think about it. If you're okay with that kind of thing, then you can continue with the gate. If you love technology, if you want to work in some companies on real-time projects, okay, you want to become manager or some other, kind of position, then go for BIM. But choose one career path. Don't be into, multiple things.
thank you, sir.
Yes, well, okay. So almost we are late. Thank you for joining. Okay. If you have any questions, you can, reach me on WhatsApp or call. I will guide you. Okay. We will connect again in future. Thank you.